Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? It is Stupid Player Negative AE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. It took me the better part of a day, but I managed to get the voices working. It was a problem with the update file. I just needed to find one on the internet with someone's that worked for me, I guess, because every time I loaded it up, I got a anyway. The cool thing is it's fixed now, and we can continue playing. Hopefully the voices aren't too loud. I've kind of tried to mix it well so it doesn't seem like it's too different. But let me know in the comments down below if it's something's too loud or something's too quiet. I know the explosions are probably going to be loud still because they're controlled by the slider. That entire day up until school was over. Whole time, my meal tonight and my bento tomorrow were the only things on my mind. Now that I thought about it, it made Mom seem amazing for planning 3 meals every day of the year. I've complained before about having the same meal in a row once in a while, but now I know how rude that was. More importantly, what am I going to do about the punishment game tomorrow? Besides that, what am I going to eat tonight?
ケイチくん、ケイチくん。
え、ああ、ごめん。ちょっと考え事を。
今夜の献立のこと？
Actually, I actually might make a conscious decision to turn down the background volume just in case. I don't know.
それとも明日のお弁当勝負のことかな？
She hit the mark and I couldn't find anything to say. And my facial expressions made obvious the fact that she hit the mark.
明日の勝負はきっとケイチくんが頑張ってお弁当を作ってこれたらそれで大丈夫だと思うよ。頑張って作った手作りのお弁当に優劣なんかないもの。
明日の勝負以前に今夜の晩飯だよ。食中毒でばったり行くかもしれない。
I couldn't make any more bluffs. I exaggeratedly drooped my shoulders and heaved a sigh from the bottom of my gut. Brenna laughed in a shrill way when she saw me do that.
やっぱりケイチくん、お料理全然自信なんかなかったんだね。
So I've been found out.
もしもケイチくんがどんなに頑張っても無理そうだったらレナに電話してもいいからね。
え、本当か？
ケイチくんがちゃんと頑張ったらだよ。
I was gonna
何
say
も苦労しないで人に頼ろうとしちゃダメなんだから。
I was gonna say you should just call her immediately. And it seemed naive, but sometimes she was instructive. She didn't just spoil people unconditionally. Brenna always seemed like an adult at these moments.
どうしてもダメだったら電話するよ。その確率は極めて高いが。
ファイト、オーだよ。さとこちゃんにあれだけ大見栄を切ったんだから頑張らなきゃ。
なあ、さとこってどの程度の料理ができるんだ？
少なくともケイチくんよりはできるよ。
So direct, it hit me pretty hard.
さとこちゃんをあれだけいじめたんだからケイチくんはちょっぴり苦労をしてもいいか。
レナって結構意地悪なのな。
レナは可愛いだけじゃないんだよ。だよ。
Now that I've provoked Satoko that much, I couldn't just make some crummy bento. I can't believe how loose-lipped I am.
じゃあね、頑張ってね。お料理ケイチくんがやればできるってことみんなに見せてあげようね。
I'm gonna lose this challenge.
Oh.
I'm gonna lose this challenge. I waved my hand absently in response. I just have a feeling. Leaving me with words of encouragement and a few pieces of super beginner advice, Rena disappeared past the trees. We got the halfway point. So we have to make a killer bento box. I thought for a second there, just for like a split second, my mind went to, what if the reason why shit happens is because I always lose the first game. But then again, there's also like the idea that I don't know. I don't know. There's also like this could be in the same timeline, because of the the God, the curry bowl thing. The curry bowl situation was exactly the same. So why have things be exactly the same? Interesting. May not know the ABCs of navigation, and I have neither a sea chart nor a compass. But still, one idiot is taking on the ocean of the great cooking age alone. And his name is Keiichi Maebara.
よしいざ料理
My enthusiasm is peerless. If energy and recklessness... Jesus Christ. If energy and recklessness was all it took, then I could take over the world. However, there are plenty of things in the world that can be achieved with resolution alone, and cooking was probably the top contender. Therefore, even if it was hastily prepared knowledge, I wanted something to help me. I made up my mind and fished through the kitchen cabinets. I was on the hunt for a cookbook. My mom should have a few of them. For a complete amateur like me, the first thing I needed was information. Just like who would cross the oceans needed a compass. For me, a cookbook was absolutely indispensable. Oh, here's one. Its worn out wrinkle cover made it somehow feel reliable. Okay, as long as I've got
考
this.
えるより有無が安しだなお料理の本さえあれば誰だってシェフの味が出せるじゃんよさすがはお料理の本
And as such optimistic thoughts filled my chest, I flipped through the pages. However,
の
played with technical terminology like toys. I just couldn't imagine how to actually make things. Or I just couldn't see how to actually make things. You knew it all along, Keiichi Maebara. If anyone could make delicious food just by reading a book, then there would be no such job as gourmet chef in the first place. First off, it calls for 3 teaspoons. But which spoon is that? It keeps saying to use however much you like. How much exactly are you supposed to use? Stop using such obscure expressions. Strain out the water in a colander. And add salt and pepper to taste. I actually don't know what that is. I was down until you mentioned colander. Colander? It's got to be a colander. What the heck is a colander? Yeah, beats me, dude. I mean, I could make guesses as to what it is and strain it out like stretching. It's one of those like I don't know. Maybe that's what the name of a strainer is. Or this just I don't know. Someone's gonna tell me. Like stretching, you can't stretch water droplets like meat. And besides, how much salt and pepper is that supposed to be anyway? Jesus. They go way overboard with the freaking sound effects in the beginning of these games. Aren't there any beginner-friendly guides in here? It won't do any good to yell. Cool it off. Cool off, Keiichi Maebara. Think calmly. Calmly. For now, I'll leave this side dish until after. The rice is more important. I have to cook the rice or I can't start. I know a little bit about how to cook rice. I didn't cook it with my camping kit when camping all the time for nothing. I'll wash the rice. That should be enough water. And which switch is it? Is it this button? Oh, the lamp turned on. Yeah, fully automatic rice cookers are one of the 3 sacred treasures after all. Now, pleased by the rice cooker set, I pulled myself together and decided to make the miso soup next. The miso soup I made at day camp was all the instant kind after all. Well, it would be fine if I just melted the miso into hot water, no doubt. I'll boil the water and put in the miso. How much should I put in?
何人数とお好みで適量に
Use the proper amount according to the number of people in your
ま
table.
たしても中小兵
Jesus
そ
Christ.
れなら適量に入れてやるさ
I crushed the bag of miso in my fist and put half of its contents into the pot. Was this really okay? Maybe this was a little too hearty.
うんうん濃厚なお味の味噌汁がいいって言うもんな そういえばお袋の味噌汁は少し薄すぎる気がしてたんだ俺にはこれくらい入れた方が合うかもしれない
Seems like a bad idea. I said it out loud as if trying to convince myself. Then, convinced by my own words, I nodded to myself. Alright, the rice and miso soup were probably fine. Next is the side dish. But what should I make? Something I could make that would add color to the meal. Sid, why don't I stir fry some vegetables? You can eat vegetables raw too, and they won't die from just a little bit of fire. It was so cute then, not realizing the level of my thoughts had fallen from what would look great in a meal to what would be easy to make. There are quite a few vegetables in the refrigerator. What kind of vegetables would go in a stir fry? Bean sprouts? Cabbage? Chives? Onions? Did you put cucumbers and lettuce in? For now, I grabbed a nearby cutting board and cut them into chunks and tossed them into a wok. Gotten pretty exciting. Is the true worth of... This has gotten pretty exciting. Is the true worth of men's cooking? What? Hey, this is actually getting kind of fun. All of a sudden, there was a pile of vegetables in the wok. Next is the salad oil. Glug, glug, glug went the salad. How much salad oil are you putting in? It'd be more exciting if I filled it to the brim. Oops, a little bit leaked out. Well, no point in worrying about something so minor. The great Keiichi Maebara's cooking is exciting. Okay, let's turn on the... Oh, God. Oh, goodness me.
すげえなんだか俺って鉄人って
No,
感
that's
じ
not what you should be.
俺ってひょっとして炎の料理人なんじゃ
And before this man's house is burnt down. Those words were spoken by delusion. I was saying something outrageously careless, but when the words came out, they sort of convinced me.
Yeah. そうさあちゃちゃちゃちゃちゃ
What as the crazy pillar of flame started to burn to the ceiling? I realized that the fat was cooking before my eyes had accumulated into an actually life-threatening disaster. Wait, what? Could I have been doing something insane? The force of the flame grew stronger and stronger. What?
何をしてるでございます。早く火を止めなさいですわ。
What? That's Satoko's voice? What the F are you guys doing here? It's extremely sus.
え
This is extremely sus.
リカちゃん
Get out of here. I stood in wonder at their unexpected entrance as Satoko shoved me out of the way and turned off the gas. The Rika-chan got a towel, soaked it in water, spread it out, and placed it over the pot. She continued to soak more towels, the second and then the third. Once a whole bunch were piled on the fire, suddenly stopped. It all happened in a few moments. What the fuck? First of all, how'd they get in my house without me answering the door? Second of all, why did they know that there was a fire happening? Third, what the fuck? And four, I don't like it because this game is about Satoko, because Satoko is the main image of the game, and I don't like it. Of having avoided the huge fire by a hair's breadth, the three of us gasped for air.
お前ら
Exactly.
俺の家にいるん
Alright,
だ
let's get some answers. Here we go.
住居不法侵入だぞ
Exactly.
それを言うなら、 圭一さんなんか放火の現行犯でございますのよ。もうすぐで大火事になるところだったではございません。圭一は今日から宿なしでかわいそなのです。
And after pretending to be an Iron Chef, I finally began to take in the situation.
やっぱりあれは火事になりかけてた。
当たり前でございませんの。ほらご覧なさい、天井がすすけてるではございません。すすけていいのは男の背中だけですのよ。
Toko was seriously mad at me. Maybe they saved my life. But what were they doing? Why? How did they know? How did they know that there was a fire? That doesn't make any sense. According to what they said, I was so absorbed in my fiery cooking that I hadn't noticed when Satoko and Rika-chan rang the doorbell. Why? But they could tell someone was home, so they came in to check. Thank goodness they did.
僕とサトコが来なかったら今頃ボーボーで消防車がなのです。圭一さん、そろそろ事の重大さが飲み込めまして。
Oh, they gave Satoko a wink. At some point, I had sat down on my knees as I listened obediently.
皆さんは命の恩人です。
I don't like this
素
at
敵
all.
なディナーがどんなものかと来てみれば。
What?
案の定このざまですし、これじゃ出来上がりを見るまでもありません。
じゃあサトコたち、俺が夕食にどんなものを作るか
Yeah, this is a little
見
bit
に来たって
curious.
わけか。
That's not a thing that happens.
その嫌味に命と家を助けられたの、よく肝に銘じた方がよろしいのではありません。
I'm happy that they saved my life, but I'm a protagonist, so I would have made it out alright. But I'm more mad that they're here. Get away.
はい、すみませんでした、サトコさん。
At this point, having shown them such a disaster, I couldn't exactly make any more bluffs. I'd completely surrendered.
カレーの時は結構頑張ってましたの。あの時の圭一さんはどこに行ってしまいましたの。まったく。
あの時は後輩職に手伝ってもらって他の班の鍋を丸ごと借りただけで、
Correlation to the
俺
last
が料理したわけじゃ。
game with the curry references. 100% correlation.
まったく、いくら部活とはいえとんでもない手を使いますのね。
This could be happening in the same time. So, I'll go over what I think after. Pouring salt into other teams' pots seemed far more terrible than me, or to me, but Satoko was in control right now, so I couldn't respond. I obediently hang my head to her.
ところで圭一さん、この凄まじいお鍋、まさか味噌汁だなんて言わないでしょうね。
Satoko stared at the pot, totally full of miso, with an awful expression. So I really did get the amount wrong. Judging by the look on Satoko's face, whatever was in the pot couldn't be called miso anymore.
味噌汁はともかく、最近の炊飯器は便利だから、きっとそろそろ炊けてる頃だ。
炊けてないです。ほら、まだ中身も全然お水なのですよ。
え？あれ？だってちゃんとスイッチを入れたらランプが点灯して。
圭一さん、あなたが押したボタン、これタイマ
Man,
ー
they're
のボタ
using
ンで
this
すよ。
wake a lot, huh?
朝食用にセットしてあるから電源が入るのは明日の早朝でしたよ。
ってことは何か？俺は結局おかずはもとより味噌汁もご飯すらも何も自炊できなかったってことか。
I wonder, is it P? Oh, dude, it's straight up. He straight up added a wink in this too.
ざまあありませんわ。どうです？ようやく身の程を思い知りまして。さあ認めなさいませ。私前原圭一は北条聡子さんよりもお料理の下手っぴな口先男でした。
いや
What the fuck?
私はサトコより料理の下手っぴな。ダメ、どうもすみませんでした。
Jesus, calm the F down. I fainted in agony. Rika-chan pat my head, satisfied at the sight. Satoko laughed loudly in triumph. I've completely lost. And I talked big, but couldn't make a single dish adequately. At this rate, I'll go without dinner. And tomorrow morning, no breakfast and no bento for lunch either. I didn't know how many days it would be before my parents returned, but at this rate, without a doubt.
飢え死にだ もちろん明日の弁当もなし
What kind of response is that?
そして明日の罰ゲームも俺で決まる
Man, they go hardcore with the sound effects. Rika-chan kept patting my head with a smile on her face. I wonder how these, like, wonder how these voice actors, like, got ready for their part. I can't get any bigger. Satoko completely appalled. Or I wonder, maybe it's just their, like, voice.
大の男が情けないったらありゃしませんのね。
Make sure I didn't miss it. Okay.
ほら、おどき遊ばせ。
As I sobbed like a girl, Satoko, displeased, brushed me aside and dumped the remains of the miso soup into the sink, tidy, and began to rinse out the pot.
いいよさ自分の後片付けくらい俺がやるよ
I couldn't have Satoko clean up the cooking utensils I've made a mess of, but when I tried to stop her, Rika-chan pulled out my clothes.
圭一は黙って見ているといいのですよ。
What the F are they doing in my house?
黙って見てろって
まあ、そういうことですわね。圭一さんは黙って私に任せればいいんですのよ。
Satoko turned around and declared, seeming bothered. There, using this wink. As if to say that amateurs should keep their hands off. Her annoyed expression was a little scary.
任せるって何を
Leave what to you? Satoko didn't answer. Instead, she spun back around and began to rifle through pots in the refrigerator.
おいおいあまりひっくり返したりしたら俺が後でお風呂に
うるさい男ですわね。男子厨房に立ち入らずでしたよ。
Get burned, dude. What?
いいかあいあいさですよ。
That's some shit. Men aren't supposed to be into the kitchen. That is some shit right there. Let me just make sure I didn't do anything and drag me back in the loop.
おいおいもう話してくれよさとこに任せたら台所が大変なことに
今日の聡子は圭一を見返しに来たのですよ。復讐なのです。
復讐そういえばさとこのやつどこか険しい顔を
Eventually, from the kitchen, there was the sound of the faucet being twisted and the stove dial being turned. I began to hear the nostalgic sounds that made me envision dinner time, the refrigerator opening and closing, ingredients being cut on the chopping board. What did that mean? Was she cooking?
圭一にいっぱいいっぱいバカにされましたで。聡子は自分にもお料理が
こうして音だけ聞いてるかお皿を落とす音も破裂音も爆発音も聞こえてこないな
At this point, at least, she had proven she was a more skillful cook than me. In the cooking showdown with Satoko Hyojo versus Keiichi Maebara, it looked like victory had already been decided. I recalled Satoko's slightly annoyed expression from before.
俺日中さとひょっとしてそれで根に持たれた
But I also think I maybe overdid it. At the very least, I shouldn't have made fun of Satoko, who can cook for herself, when I'd never cooked other than for reaction before.
聡子はそんなの根に持っていませんです。
Recreation. Sorry. Satoko isn't holding her. Okay.
でもこうしてわざわざ俺のところまでやっぱり怒ってるに違いないよ
Riley took a peek into the kitchen. She definitely looked different than the usual bird-brained Satoko. Her eyes were sharp and her movements were brisk, to the point where it was a little scary. Then she must have noticed me because she turned around and shot me an annoyed glare. I cringed in fear and hastily pulled my head back out.
怒ってる。やっぱり怒っ。ああ、俺は。
さとこは失敗したくないから怒ってなんかいないの。
あれのどこが怒ってないって言うんだよ。あんなおっかなそうなさとこ初めて見たよ。
圭一さん、ちょっと聞こえてますの？
はい。
The F this man afraid of, like, I don't even know how old Satoko is actually. I think I had asked their ages or whatever, and we were speculating on them a while back, like a while back. But she's like way younger than you. I jumped at Satoko's angry outburst and faced towards the kitchen. I felt exactly like a kid who had done something bad and gotten called to the teacher's lounge.
お味噌ってどこにしまってあり？冷蔵庫がでっかくて全然。
味噌はその冷蔵庫の中。
なんですの？お味噌のパックは使ったらちゃんと口を閉じなさいですわよ。冷蔵庫の中がお味噌で汚れてしまう。
すみません。
Before I could look for something to wipe it with, Satoko wiped it off with a wet dish towel.
まったく男の人ってのはどうしてこう後片付けがずさん。そのまま大人になったらと思うとゾッとしましたよ。
Couldn't talk back to Satoko today. The only thing I could do was obediently lower my head and apologize. The Satoko nitpicked and I apologized. A good smell began to fill the kitchen.
お味噌汁のお味噌はこう。お玉に少量をすくい取ってお箸で溶きながら少しずつ加えて味見をしながら慎重にですのよ。丸ごとひねり出してお鍋にあけちゃうな。
すみません。家庭科の授業は真面目にやってません。
情けない。まったく。
I swear.
これだから男の人は。
Grumble. I cowered at her annoyed sounding muttering. But looking at her like this, she seemed quite good at cooking. It had just been overshadowed by Rena's and Rika-chan's artistic abilities. Satoko's skills were clearly enough to get passing marks.
さあさあ、そんなところでぼーっとしてる暇がございましたら、食卓にお茶碗の用意をなさいませ。
I'm interested to see Satoko with dead eyes.
私もリカも食べますから、用意は3人分ですわよ。
They've done that with Rena and Mion, but they haven't done it with anybody else yet, so I'm interested to see if Satoko gets those dead eyes too. I hastily took a 3 people's worth of dishes and such from the cabinets and headed to the dining room. Jesus. When I returned there, I could hear laughter from the variety show on the television. Rika-chan was sprawled out on the couch watching television and relaxing. When she noticed me putting the dishes out on the table, she came scampering up.
もうすぐご飯なのです。圭一のうちでご飯な。ニパ
ー。
リカちゃんは上機嫌みたいだな。
Yeah, she is.
サトコの不機嫌とはえらい違いだ。
サトコは全然不機嫌。久しぶりにとても楽しそうなのです。
楽しそう？あれがか？
サトコがニーニーと一緒だった頃みたいです。こんなに楽しそうなサトコを見るのは本当に久しぶりなのですよ。
Nini? What the heck is Nini? I'm guessing that's Satoshi, right?
ニーニーはサトコのお兄さん。
サトコの
サトシと言いますです。名前くらい聞いたことがありませんですか？
Satoshi Hyojo? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. At least he didn't go to our school.
サトシっていうのか。サトコの兄貴は。初めて聞いたな。
Oh, we're getting into the new music territory. Here we go. That's the first time I've heard of him. She had a brother, huh? Didn't know that. He does have one. Saying that, Rika-chan grinned even more brightly and went, Nipa! again.
サトシと一緒にいる時のサトコはいつもこんな風で楽しそうだったのですよ。本当に久しぶりにこんな楽しそうなサトコを見ますのです。
However I looked at it, she seemed to be in a bad mood. But her good friend Rika-chan was saying that it was actually quite the opposite.
楽しそう。
きっとニーニーと一緒だったから懐かしいのですよ。
懐かしい？じゃあ今はサトコとは別居なのか。
How is the anime structured? I have to watch this anime. Does it end at a certain point? Does it end after all 6 of them? Because like I'm so curious to see how they structure the anime. Because each of these is like different, right? I don't know. Maybe Satoko's older brother Satoshi is actually a lot older than her. He must have gone off on his own and was living by himself far away.
サトコはそのサトシって兄と仲は良かった。
はい、とても仲良しな兄弟だったです。
Spread her arms wide to demonstrate the width of how well they got along. According to Rika-chan, Satoko supported her docile, slightly unreliable older brother through nagging. That was their relationship. That certainly applied to the current situation. We had me, unreliable, unable to cook even a single dish properly, and Satoko, who redid it while scolding me. Could Satoko have been getting a glimpse of her brother, who now lived far away, through me?
いつもあんな感じでサトシだけどしっかりと支えながら仲良く生活して。
今日圭一のところへ来たのサトコが言い出したのですよ。
Said there's no way the unreliable Keiichi-san could possibly make dinner. We need to go make it for him.
じゃあ別に復讐とか見返すとかそういう意味で来たんじゃなかった。
放っておけなかったのでサトコは今でもしっかり者の妹なのです。
Man, I knew Satoko was my favorite character. No, I'm just joking. Well, okay. Behind freaking Best Girl, Satoko is best character. But Best Girl has only been in one installment as far as we know. She was not in the first one. I was an only child. I didn't know how it felt to have siblings. Of course, I never had a little sister like Satoko. But I felt that in this moment I was an older brother, obediently and helplessly being looked after by her. Without any teasing or messing around. I'm going to give her thanks for her trouble. That's what I honestly thought.
圭一さん、おしゃもじがどこにあるかわかりませんで。
ああ、ごめん。しゃもじはその右脇の引き出しの中に。
Ran into the kitchen and got the ladle out of the drawer and offered it to Satoko.
さあ、出来上がりでしたよ。もうお茶碗とかは準備できてますの？
ああ、もう準備 OK だぜ。
では、ご飯にしましょうですわね。リカ、お夕飯ですわよ。みー。
I heard Rika-chan's effervescent voice coming from the living room. Satoko turned off the gas flame on the stove and lifted up the pot of miso soup.
圭一さんは炊飯器を持ってきてくださいます。ひっくり返さないように注意するんですのよ。
ああ、気をつけるよ。
I can carry rice cookers just fine without being warned about it. I thought about replying like that, but I decided not to. No mean words or witty retorts today. With rice with steam billowing from it and miso soup, as well as a handful of side dishes. On the table was a truly firm, family-oriented dinner. It wasn't weird at all or extravagant. It was a daily meal, the sort a housewife would make. It was very nonchalant and brimming with liveliness.
では、いただきますですわよ。
いただきます。
At Satoko's command, Rika-chan and I both thanked her in a loud voice.
俺、サトコのことは侮ってたよ。完全に敗北だ。
少しは見直しまして。リカやレナさんに比べれば、私もまだまだですけど、頼りない圭一さんな。
へいへい、おみそれしやした。
After I honestly admitted my defeat, Satoko's expression finally softened and she laughed with her normally loud and cheerful voice.
お、ご飯いい感じで炊き上がってるな。
Though she used the rice cooker, it tasted a little different from the rice my mom made. Maybe she used a different amount of water for it? Even so, I could feel Satoko's personality from the rice, which made it taste better than usual. The miso soup was a little thick on the side, but it was still delicious. The side dishes, while not exactly flashy, tasted great as well. It was also appetizing. I couldn't stop
お
eating.
かずもよくできてるよ。さとこも決して料理は下手じゃないぞ。
I gave my honest impression without a hint of sarcasm. Satoko seemed to have been expecting some, because when I praised her so honestly, she got flustered instead.
褒められるのは光栄ですけど、そんなに立派ではありませんのよ。おかずはお惣菜屋さんで買ったものを温めただけですし。
What a new Satoko smile. The side dishes are just things that I bought at the store and heated
こ
up.
れとこれは缶詰を開けただけですし、自分でちゃんと作ったのは、ご飯と味噌汁だけなんですのよ。
Satoko said, embarrassed, her face a bit flushed. There was none of her normal verbal abuse or sarcasm in there either.
ご飯とお味噌汁しか作ってませんけど、出来合いのおかずを並べればそこそこに立派にはなりますのよね。
When you get ready-made side dishes and put them on the table too, it turns into something fairly splendid.
うちのお袋だって
Interesting.
出来合いのお惣菜は使うし、そんなので恥ずかしがることはない。これは立派な夕食だよ。
He gave her honest praise. I never met Satoko's brother, but Satoshi would probably praise her in the same way.
まあ、私にもそこそこのお料理ができることが分かっていただけたのでしたら、それでおかわりいります？お味噌汁はまだありますですわよ。
Huh? Did that brat just awkwardly change the subject? When I realized my response had been on the mark, it made me a little happy.
こうしてご飯を食べてると、サトシと一緒にご飯を食べてるみたいで楽しいのです。
Satoko's chopsticks paused and she looked up at the ceiling.
懐かしいですわね。一体今頃どこでどうしてるやら。
She had a faraway smile, as if yearning for a friend who had moved away. From how it looked, I got the impression she hadn't seen Satoshi in quite some time. Satoko realized I was giving her a blank stare.
あ、サトシっていうのは私のニーニーじゃなくて兄なのですのよ。
あ、うん、そうなんだ。
Nini must have been a nickname only Satoko used for him. It was funny to see her hastily deny it.
あんなに生活力のない人に家出なんて解消があったなんてびっくりでございますけど、まあそのうち値を上げでひょっこり帰ってくるに決まってますわ。
家出したんだ。
There was another story to what Satoko had said so cheerfully. The reason for Satoshi not living with her was a little serious. Everyone had been talking about it in such an upbeat way, so I continued to talk about him. Should I not have breached the subject at all? I hastily took a look at Satoko's face after thinking that, but there was no trace of the gloomy expression I'd been worrying about.
まあ一人暮らしに憧れるなんて年頃らしい夢ではありません。どうせニーニーには長続きご来性のない人ですから。サトシはああ見えてもとても我慢強い人なのですよ。サトコが思ってるよりもずっと我慢強い。リカはすぐニーニーの肩を持ちますのね。リカはちょっと甘やかしすぎですのよ。サトコはニーニーに厳しす帰ってきたらもっと優しくしてあげた方が良いのです。
Satoko and Rika-chan's views regarding Nini, aka Satoshi, were parallel to each other, but I could easily tell that both of them really liked him. They were so optimistic too. Even though he had ran away from them, it was like they were going to see him again next week. Satoko and Rika-chan both liked Satoshi even now and waited for him, believing he would surely return. I never met him, but I know for sure that the Satoshi person was a really good guy. I had thought Satoko would be deeply hurt by her brother running away, but she had already overcome that. She was still being the little energetic sister, always full of vim and vigor, as if to say that her brother could come back at any time he liked. I thought that Satoko didn't think through anything, and just frolicked and played practical jokes every day, and that was it. But she was really, yeah.
なんで私の頭を撫でますの？
I roughly rubbed a hand through Satoko's hair.
俺サトコのことをお前がこんなにしっかり者だなんて思わなかった。
Satoko seemed to think I was making fun of her and tried to bat away my hand. But then she saw there wasn't even a trace of malice on my face and obediently granted me her head.
サトコはしっかり者。
私は最初からしっかり者でしたよ。圭一さんに合わせて悪ふざけしてあげてたに過ぎませんわ。
There was her usual provocation, but I decided not to buy into it today.
そうだな。俺に合わせてふざけでも本当はこんな偉い。
本当に褒めてますの？なんだかバカにされてるような。
俺は全然バカにしてないぞ。真面目に褒めてる。バカにしてるときはリカちゃんも一緒に撫でるからな。
それもそうですわ。リカは人を小バカにするときよく頭を撫でますものね。
What the
缶詰のイワシさんが美味しいのですよ。
Why does Rika just make noises? Rika's like a lot of Rika's dialogues are just like animal noises or like some sort of me or meep. Oh, freaking, and the new one that is Nipa. Rika-chan went Nipa, and her smile went even brighter. Her attitude was as clear as day, but it was annoyingly cute. So both Satoko and I suddenly burst into laughter. Laughter lightened up the table. The table itself was so dull and simple that I never even thought people could be laughing like this around it. And then I finally came to realize something. Really
笑い
obvious.
ながら食べる食事って美味しいよな。
もちろんなのですよ。笑いはご飯を美味しくするのです。失礼です。ご飯が美味しいのは私のお料理が美味しいからに決ま。
This harmonious moment, this happy circle, it was completely different than spending time with family, but still somehow
サトコ
nostalgic.
はニーニーに会いたいか？
ニーニーなんて言っても兄とお呼びなさいですわ。
Hey, wait, you've been saying Nini this and Nini that this whole time. I grinned wryly and just decided to call him brother like she told
サ
me
トコ
to.
は兄貴に会いたいか？
Rika stopped eating and then looked back and forth between my face and Satoko's. Satoko was smiling. She looked like she was trying to choose her words. Just from that, Satoko conveyed her feelings. Honestly, she wished he would come home right now. But she wasn't that weak. Satoshi would just do what he wanted until he was satisfied. In return, she'd let him have the scolding of his lifetime. And she'd have dinner with him and lay out his futon for him.
会いたいかと言われる。もうすぐで1年になりますもの。
Been that long already. Rika-chan smiled thinly, her eyes appearing to look far away.
まあ、ニーニーの好きにすればいいのですわ。少しでも生活力を身につけて、たくましくなって帰ってきてくれれば、私の負担も軽くなるわけですし。
Wonder if they gave her the smile to give her dead eyes on the smile.
ほら、またニーニーって言った。
言いましたですね。言ってませんわよ。ニーニーのことをニーニーなんて言いませんわよ。
Things rapidly turned to the usual lively atmosphere of lunchtime at school. But nothing changed about Satoko's feelings towards her brother. She was living so bravely and so strongly. Hey Satoshi, your sister is trying so hard to watch the place while you're gone, isn't she? Give it a rest and come back soon. Got it?
さとこ、そろそろお片付けをしないとお眠になる時間なのです。
It was when we were all watching TV and enjoying some tea after dinner. Rika-chan let out a big yawn and then spoke. Satoko and I both looked at the clock and noticed how late it had gotten. Perhaps we both realized it already. We just didn't want this warm moment to end. Maybe we didn't want to say anything.
いけませんわね。まだ食器を洗っていませんでしたわ。
いいよ、そんなの。それくらい俺がやっておくよ。飯をごちそうになって食器まで洗わせるわけにはいかん。
本当に大丈夫ですの？慣れない人が洗うとお皿とか洗剤で滑って落としちゃいますわよ。
Jeez, she's turned into a perfect nagging little sister. It was charming and awkward. Emotions like that are all mixed up. Were all mixed up inside me. I gave her a vague, dry smile.
圭一だってお皿くらい割ったお皿で怪我をしたら明日学校で
Rika-chan yawned again, so wide that you could see her molars.
本当に大丈夫ですの？圭一さんって見かけと違って随分と頼りない方でございます。
やれやれ。聡子の中の圭一株は大暴落みたいだな。安心しろ。皿くらいきっちり安心して帰れ。っていうか、こんな時間じゃ家まで送るよ。自転車の鍵を。
私たちを送った後一人で家に帰るの圭一さんではありませんの。夜道に迷って高津戸あたりに迷い込んだら大変ですのよ。
End up in
あ
Takasudo.
のあたりお家も明かりも全然ありませんから。
What's the name of this game? It starts with a T. Oh no. I was trying to worry about them getting home, but I didn't think they'd be worried about me getting home. Am I really that unreliable? He really is being critical, but yeah, this feeling I have, it's not bad. So I ended up not needing to escort them. I saw off Satoko and Rika-chan to the
今
gate.
日は本当におかげでとても文化的な夕飯にありつけたよ。
聡子が来なかったら今頃圭一はグーグー。本当ですわね。本当来てよかったですわ。
They really saved me. Gave them another bow filled with gratitude.
そうそう、ご飯とおかずの残りをタッパーに詰めておきましたから。あと明日の朝食は食パンとジャムがいいですかね。いちごジャムとピーナッツバターが冷蔵庫中段の右端にありましたわ。
Jesus Christ,
あと
Satoko.
粉末ココアが食器棚の右上の戸の中に。
You know all that. You don't have to go into detail. I was about to say that, but I decided to humbly listen to her. It was then that I finally realized that Satoko, who had appeared to be in a bad mood, was in fact in a great one, just like Rika-chan had said. And though she nagged a lot, she was very kind.
ではおやすみな。寝る前にはちゃんと歯を磨くんですのよ。
God damn it,
5
Satoko.
分以上かけてしっかりと磨きなさいませ。
わかったよ、聡子。ちゃんと歯も磨くし、弁当も忘れないようにするよ。
いつもより早めに起きないと朝食やお弁当のなんなら少し早いくらいの時間に目覚まし代わりに電話して差し上げましょうか。
そこまでしてくれなくても目覚まし時計を少し早めにセットしておく。ありがとな。いろいろと気にしてくれて。
Satoko looked like she had more fault finding to do. But she had stopped and, leaving me with a good night, got on her bike and disappeared down the nighttime road. Rika-chan went to do the same, but then remembered something and came
どうした
back.
リカちゃん、忘れ物か？
今日の圭一は100点満点でした。パチパチパチなのです。
God, the sound effects. Rika-chan suddenly complimented me. She clapped her small hands. What was she on about?
別に褒められ、危うく自宅を火事にする。
聡子もきっとニーニーとても楽しかったと思いますです。たまにこれからも聡子のお小言に付き合ってあげて。
聡子に小言を言われる頼りない兄貴。サトシの代わりになってやれっていうことか？
Rika-chan didn't say anything. She just smiled and went all nipa. What the fuck?
サトシってさ、
Satoshi.
こんなにもできた妹と一緒で、俺がサトシだったら絶対に家で。
サトシにはきっと
Didn't know what he was unhappy with. But whatever the reason, it was no excuse for abandoning Satoko.
早く帰ってくるといいな。俺じゃ多分本物のニーニーの代役は。
大丈夫です。今日の圭一はサトシそっくりだ。またお願いしますなのですよ。
If that's what would make Satoko happy, I'd take on this easy role whenever I needed to. Satoko stopped her bike under a distant exterior light and called out to her friend, who wasn't coming no matter how long she waited.
では、僕はもうおやすみなさいなの。
あ、おやす。
僕ではサトシの代わりをできませんが、これで僕も心の荷が一つ下りましたのですよ。
Leave me with that. Rika-chan sped off on her bike. She rode up next to Satoko, and then the two of them disappeared in the blink of an eye.
サトシ、本当にあんまり帰りが遅かったら。
Try our best until they come, Satoko. Even if I could no longer hear the sounds of their bicycles, I stood there for a while, seeing them off. That's the end of the chapter, guys. Perfect timing too. I'm happy that I have the voices working. Some cool shit happens. Some cool character building with Satoko. Oh shit! We got some new tips. Just one new tip, I think. There's just one new tip. We'll read that on the next. I don't know how long it is, so we'll read it on the next episode at the beginning. Yeah, it's cool. I have a theory that kind of popped up recently. And I guess I'll have to see how this one goes. I'm thinking that we're going through the story in reverse. And the reason I say that is because, like, I don't know. I don't know why I say that. I don't know why I say that. Just bear with me, okay? We're going through the story in reverse, and something happens at the beginning of the story that explains the rest of the stories. That's the only thing I can think of. It was kind of that way, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I've seen other animes that are like that. And it would make a lot of sense is if there was something major that I didn't know about that happens in maybe the last shits. What that is, I don't know. I guess that's the whole thing that you need to figure out. But it is my current theory that we're going in reverse. And that's kind of why we're learning about the same thing. So the curry competition happened in this world. Maybe there's like selective things that happen in certain worlds that are some kind of connected, but they're not connected. I don't know, guys. I'm just trying to come up with some sort of sense. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the like button. It really helps me out. Also subscribe if you haven't done so already. I plan on beating this game. We'll see how far we get. Hopefully the whole thing. Seeing as this is going to be like one of the longest visual novels that I've ever played. Anyway, I hope to see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. And peace out, you guys.